Zach Life Beat Depression. It's day 880 and we're back with another somatic healing session to wipe out depression. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here now. Anyone who's tuning in later, as you know, it's a martial arts for mental health show. And we like to focus in on those powerful mental health tools. First one being gratitude. And today is day 19 of our 21 days of gratitude movement with Hope to Courage. So I want to shout out gratitude to Hope to Courage for putting this movement together, for bringing multiple mental health advocates together to share free services and free tools that can help empower others to find their way forwards towards better mental health. That's going to be my gratitude section today. Go ahead and think about your gratitude section and where you'd like to focus that gratitude. That'll help put you in that positive mindset as we move into the lesson. That being said, the second mental health tool we talk about is progress tracking. It's day 880 of consecutive progress and success for me, the Sack Man. Let me know how many days it's been for you. The more you keep track of it, the more powerful that number can be. And it can reinforce the truth that you are stronger than those debilitating effects of depression or anxiety. The more you keep track of it. Let that number remind you. Put it somewhere where you can see it. Get yourself a chart or a board or a calendar, or put it in a note somewhere that you can look at it, especially if you're still dealing with blue periods and negative thought spirals, or you're waking up in those debilitating phases. You've got to give yourself an anchor back into the truth, into the reality that those negative thoughts and emotions and feelings are temporary, and the progress you are making is permanent. The proof of your endurance is permanent. We never lose a day. We never go back to zero when it comes to giving ourselves credit for our strength and endurance. So make sure you're using that progress tracking tool to its full ability, and you're putting it somewhere you can see it, especially to help you on those tough days. Shout out to Lisa Luminary for sharing her progress at 580 days. Crushing that progress train. Good stuff, Lisa. Thank you for being a rock here and a support and an inspiration to me and also to others, helping me feel less alone out here. And together we're helping a lot of other people feel less alone, showing them that there is a way forward. There are multiple ways forwards. We just have to find the ones that work for us. Shout out as well to Bruce13. Thank you for being here. And those are the first two tools we normally cover. Today is day 19 of our 21 days of gratitude movement. And that is that special program being put together by Hope to Courage. We've done 18 days so far of accessible, beginner-friendly lessons, equipping you guys with multiple tools from the Art of 8 Limbs, Muay Thai, and we are running out of time for that program. We're almost done. There are only 3 days left. So we are into the kicks. We've got 3 more days of beginner-friendly lessons, and then we're going to go move back in to our more advanced daily training sessions. We'll be covering advanced combinations, and the only beginner-friendly days are really going to be Wednesdays and Sundays. So if you're new to this program, you'll be able to catch up. You'll be able to arm yourself with some tools by tapping in to the saved sessions, the saved 21-day of gratitude movement sessions that are on our IGTV page. So if you're new, if you're just tuning in now, if you're tuning in later, if you're catching this broadcast 10 years from now, check our IGTV page. And that'll give you those basic tools, those basic fundamentals that you can drill in repetition and isolation and kind of perfect for yourself. And that will equip you to take the next session of classes that are going to be coming up in about 3 days. We're going to get back on track on that progress train, moving forwards at an accelerated rate. So, that being said, today we're going to cover some more kicks. We've been covering kicks the last couple of days, and we talked about the teep, the lead teep, the rear teep, the roundhouse kick, the rear roundhouse kick. Today, we're going to talk about low kicks. We're going to do the low roundhouse kick. And there are multiple ways to fire the low roundhouse kick when it comes to Muay Thai. But the way that I'm going to share with you today is one that was shared with me by the 2-time world champion Muay Thai, Mr. Greg Wooten. If you don't know who he is, check him out. He's a super cool guy, training people out there in LA. Amazing trainer. He's got an infinite wealth of information at his disposal. He tailors his lessons to all different skill levels. And he's a super humble, super cool guy who's been supportive of our cause from the first day that he heard about it. So I want to give him some support out there as well and mention him as part of our gratitude section. Thank you, Greg, for sharing your tools and for being there for others. Also want to shout out to those in now. Slayer Ken, Paul Stephen Bear, thanks for being here. And Slayer Ken's coming in at 488 days, crushing it. Good stuff, brother. Keep going. Proud of you, man. Been putting in the work, and I know it's not hard. It's not easy, and every day comes with challenges, and it's cool to see that you've been staying consistent, meeting those challenges head on, and making progress no matter what. Remember to give yourself credit for that. All right, so let's get into the low roundhouse kick we're going to be covering today. Standard rounds, 3 rounds each, 1 minute breaks in between to catch your breath, to drink water, to check in on you. And we're going to start in Muay Thai position. I'm going to give you that roundhouse breakdown first. We're talking about a low roundhouse kick, and our target here is going to be this leg meat, this outside leg meat. If they're orthodox, right there. If they're southpaw, going for that one, right? And we're going to be driving this low roundhouse kick right through. We're chopping through that leg, can disable a person. You catch them in the right spot a couple times, fight's over. It's a technical knockout because they won't be able to continue. They won't be able to stand on their foundation. So in a self-defense situation too, if you're conditioning those shins and you're practicing these kicks, you could take someone's leg out. They won't be able to chase you. It'll give you an opportunity to get away. So it can be used in multiple situations. If you're on that heavy bag, of course, we're training for mental health here. We're training for mental resiliency. You can use this kick to feel a good somatic release, get that energy out. It's a full body motion, and it feels really good to fully exert yourself and put that energy into the bag in a healthy way that builds you up. So let's talk about it. Let's cover the low roundhouse kick as shown to me by the world champ. From our balanced Muay Thai stance here, we're squaring up with our visualized opponent. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to step off that line like we do with the roundhouse kick. But instead of stepping off the line up straight, we're going to kind of sink down on the knees. We're going to sink down low, and we're going to open up that hip, and we're going flat-footed on this one. Normally, we're on the ball of the foot so that we can toss it up and pivot around. But here, it's okay to sink low and turn that foot out flat. So we're sinking low, we're turning flat, open up those hips. Now what we're going to do is we're going to roll this shoulder down and over, get this shoulder down on top of it, and we're going to toss this leg up, boom, and come down and back around, back to stance. Guard up, let's practice it one more time. Visualize that opponent. Visualize the opponent in orthodox fighting stance, right? Boom, that lead leg's exposed. We're going for this target area right here. We're going to step off the line from our balanced Muay Thai stance, flat-footed, sinking, and then we're going to roll over the top here. Boom, and drive that leg through that leg meat right there. Remember too, don't fully extend. Boom, don't fully extend there. It's not a snapping kick. Those are more Taekwondo or karate style. This is a chopping through kick. We got to get that leg rotation in there as well. And that's something that opening up the hip, open up the stance here is going to help with. Roll the shoulder over the top, keeping the chin tucked for balance. Roll that shoulder over the top and then toss. Boom. Toss that hip over. Rotating that hip as you chop the arm, just like we do for the regular roundhouse, right? Regular roundhouse, we're here, we're chopping, we're rotating through the hip, chopping the arm. Low roundhouse kick, we're going to sink down low, aiming for that leg meat, and we're going to throw, boom, throw that leg right through, chopping right through that leg meat, come all the way around. So like I mentioned, we're sinking down and we're going flat foot here, and then we're tossing the hip up and over, boom, chopping through. Once we chop through the leg, you want to raise back up, start to stand back up, raise back up, get that heel off the ground so that you can pivot and follow all the way through. If you don't have the room to follow all the way through, or you'd like to make it a quicker, less effective, but a quicker attack you can throw in there, you can add some forward motion to it. So stepping forwards diagonally, tossing, boom, and then stepping back. You can execute that low leg kick that way as well. It's a little more Dutch style to just toss, boom, and then bring it back. But you can execute it that way if you'd like in training. Like I said before, lots of different ways to execute that low kick. Just the way that I prefer some of the time. I like to mix up my routine as well, and it's a good thing to stay creative and practice different ways to execute that kick. Because it makes you more diverse, it makes you less predictable when you are in a sparring situation. You can surprise your opponent with all different executions, different timings, and really kind of catch them off guard. So let's talk about the low round one more time. From balanced Muay Thai stance, we're going to step off the line, sinking low, Flat-footed, we're going to toss that hip up and over, rotating the hip and chopping the arm at the same time. As we sink into that shot, we're going to bring this shoulder forwards over that center line. We're targeting the calf, well, not the calf, we're targeting that leg, that spot that we want to chop through, right? We're kind of targeting it, bring the elbow, bring the shoulder over, looking at that spot, and we're going to chop through it as we toss that leg up and over. Boom, chop through it, bring it all the way back around. Standing up nice and tall, we're going to sink in for the low roundhouse kick again. Flat foot, target, turning the shoulder, toss, boom, and back to stance. That is it. That's the breakdown on that low roundhouse kick. We're going to add that in to our creative flow routine and use all those tools we've learned over the last 19 days. You're going to be equipped with a little bit of that full art of 8 limbs of Muay Thai. Being a complete warrior out here and completely prepared for any given situation. As long as there's no weapons involved. Support. We can't stop bullets, we can't stop knives. And the goal, of course, is not to put yourself in a situation where you would need to use self-defense. But if you find yourself with no other option, and a situation is forced upon you, and you have no way to get away from that situation, no way to avoid it, no way to de-escalate it, and the violence has come to you, then it's a tremendous help to be prepared for those situations with tools, because not only are you physically prepared, but it will mentally prepare you, so you don't go into fight or flight, so you don't go into freeze mode, and you can think clearly and make good educated decisions, like opening up the gap with a teep and getting out of there, or disabling the leg with a roundhouse kick and getting out of there. Always want to avoid or escape that situation. That's the best way to protect ourselves. Don't stay and fight. There's no way to know what is going to happen on the streets. Someone could have a gun, a knife. There could be other people waiting. You never know what's going to happen. Best thing to do, stay situationally aware, avoid it, or get away from it if you can. Create a gap and escape. All right, that being said, you don't need a bag. You don't need equipment. All you need is a space in front of you to show up for you, fight forwards, and grow every single day. Continue on that progress train, and that's what we're going to do right now. So visualize your opponent. Assign it the name of the thing you want to work on. If it's depression, make it the depression dummy, and we're going to get into a creative flow routine and start working in those low roundhouse kicks. Let's do it together. Bluetooth. There we go. Stranger beat today. And have our timer ready. Make sure you got water. You're breathing in the nose, out the mouth. Checking in on you and avoiding the signs of overreaching. We do not want to push too hard. We can wind up with more anxiety and depression if we're overreaching, and that is not the goal. Find that flow zone. Challenge yourself to your skill level. Don't exceed the challenge. Don't take it too easy and fall into boredom. Stick in that zone in the middle, and as your skill goes up, you'll be able to increase that challenge and increase your progress and the benefits. Let's go. Square up with your visualized target, and let's start with some fundamentals to warm up. We're in that Muay Thai position. Squared hips, square shoulders, staggered stance here. Start with the 1-2. Boom. Tossing those fists forwards into the face of that visualized target. Visualize connecting with the large 2-knuckle squeezing at the point of impact, and get mobile with it. If you're advanced, use movement. If you're not advanced, stay right here in your balanced stance, balanced Muay Thai position, visualizing that target, and just execute and make progress at your own pace. Notice the step for the jab, the rotation, and pivot for the cross. Back to stance. Warm up with those jabs and crosses. Let's go. You can moderate to your skill level. You can moderate the challenge with intensity, right? Or with speed, or with complexity. Those are all different ways you can give yourself a challenge and meet yourself where you're at. If, like I said, if you're comfortable with the movement, add the movement in there. Get creative with it. Start spicing it up. Practice with those different tools. Add in the elbow strikes. Hey, and surprise them. Visualize that target. And let's start adding in that low roundhouse kick. From our balanced position, we're going to step off the line, flat foot sinking in, and toss through that leg meet. Back to stance. Remember, keep the knee slightly bent at the point of impact. Want the leg to come through like a blade, fully extending through the target, chopping through the target. Back to stance, give them the 1-2. Let's go. Visualize that target. And go for the low leg chop. Let's do it. Low leg roundhouse. Step off the line. Sink it. Flat foot on the front. Turn the shoulder. Rolling the shoulder in. We're going to toss through that hip. Boom. And bring it all the way around. Back to stance. Stand up nice and tall. Hit him with the 1-2. Visualize it. Visualize the target. Back to stance and keep moving. Left to right. Work head movement in there. Bam, bam, bam. And exhale through those strikes. Step in for the low round. Boom. And bring it all the way around. Back to stance. Remember, visualize that target. And think accuracy. Think balance, form, and flow. Toss the low round. Back to stance. Guard tight. Chin tuck. Exhale through those strikes. And that's the end of round 1. Catch your breath. Drink some water. Check in on you. Shout out to Master Checo. Thanks for being here, brother. Appreciate you too. We got 54 seconds. We're going to get into our next round. There's a lot of rocks sticking out over here, making it very easy for me to roll an ankle. So I've got to watch out. We're at a little different angle and I'm hitting different lumps in the ground. So I'm going to be dialing my intensity down and taking into consideration my surroundings. Make sure you guys are doing the same. Take into consideration your environment. Take into consideration your current emotional state, your physical state today. And don't expect from yourself what you put out any other day. Don't expect what you're going to do tomorrow or what you did yesterday. Just tune into the you right here, right now. Ground yourself in this moment. And find out what you can do. Giving yourself a challenge, super important. Not overreaching with that challenge, just as important. Back to stance, let's go. Visualize that target. Toss those hands. And move around with it. Think about balance. Think about staying nice and centered. And maintaining your stance. When we move forwards and backwards, you want to move. When you're moving forwards, lead foot goes first. Rear foot follows. We don't bring the feet together. We want to stay balanced in that stance the whole time. So with your advancing techniques, right? We're the same thing. We're stepping forward. Lead foot first. Boom. Rear foot follows. And start working those low roundhouse kicks in. Step off the line, opening up the hip. Turn the shoulder over. And we're going to torque through. Chopping the arm and tossing that hip over. Whoosh. Boom. Right through that leg meet. Bang, bang, bang. Let's go. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Let's explore the difference. This is something you can do when you're training yourself. Explore the difference between techniques. So let's go for a regular roundhouse here. Step off the line. We're going to pivot through here. Reach across, right? You're going to see the similarities and the differences here. Off the line, on the ball of foot, reach across, toss that hip up, and go through the center mass. Aim for the belly, aim for the lower end of the ribs, right? Reach across, boom. Bring it all the way around, staying up nice and tall. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Work those fundamentals in between. And let's do it again. Regular roundhouse kick, body roundhouse kick here from the rear leg. Step off the line, we're pivoting on the ball of that foot. Reach across the head and chop, scissor motion, right? Right through. Whoosh. Boom, rolling that hip over and maintain a stance. Now, let's see the difference in the low roundhouse kick. This time we're targeting the leg meet. We're going to sink down, flat foot here instead of the pivot on the ball. We're going to turn the shoulder over to get on top of it. Then we're going to toss that leg up and through. Right, up, whoosh, through, and back to stance, targeting the leg. Keep it moving. Hus, hus, hus. Work those other tools in. Keep it entertaining. Push to your level. Moderate your pace, your volume, your speed of punches. and work those different tools in there. Deeps, roundhouse, boom, bang, bang, and low roundhouse. Back to stance. All right, keep it going. Push to your level and integrate that low roundhouse, that new technique. Visualize the leg you want to target. Sink, step off the line, shoulder rolls over, and do it. Boom, back to stance. Bang, 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 keep it moving. And that's the end of round 2. Catch your breath, drink some water. We're gonna keep going in round 3. Woo! Giving ourselves a challenge. Today's been rough for me for some reason. I think it's the mental exhaustion will take a toll on you too. Been a lot of things coming on down to the wire. It's the last minute. Spent all of Wednesday kind of crunching numbers, figuring out how we can make free mental health care sustainable. And we're getting closer every day. So, more to come on that. Stay tuned. But mental exhaustion is just as real as physical exhaustion. So take that into consideration as well when you're setting your goals for the day and you're pushing for the day to give yourself that challenge. All right, let's go. Final round. Mix in all those tools we've learned over the last 19 days. Add that low leg kick into your routine and have fun with it. Visualize a target. Bang, bang, bang. And move at your pace. But give yourself a challenge. Let's go. Throw those elbows. Bang, bang, bang. You can think about what moves feed each other, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back to stance. Bang, bang, bang. Which moves link to the next move? Muay Thai is a very balanced, well-rounded fighting system. Each move can feed and amplify. Bang. The next one. When you start to think about it as a circuit, as a flow. And then soon you get to unlock your potential and kind of develop your own style within that fighting system. Roundhouse. Low roundhouse. Back to stance. Bang, bang, bang. Think form, think balance, and the rest will follow. The smoother we execute those moves, the faster they become, and fast is powerful. Let's go. Keep going. Use that low roundhouse. Boom, back to stance. And link it in with those other movements that you've already learned. You could also make that low roundhouse an advancing technique. Instead of just stepping off the line, you can step forwards. Kind of take this quick step forwards. Boom. Closing the gap a little bit, right? And turn it into an advancing low roundhouse. Kind of leap forwards, and then the rest of the execution is the same. Turn the shoulder in, target the leg meat, toss over that hip, boom, and chop through it. Back to stance. Bang, bang, bang. You can use that to change angles as well. Off the line, bam, and return. Firing from a different angle. Bang, 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 bang. Have fun. Target those different tools. Use those different tools. Hey, keep going. Fight for you. Remember what we're fighting for every day is a better quality of life, and we deserve what we give, so give it 100%. Low round. Lunging low round. Keep going. Regular roundhouse. Back to stance. Low roundhouse. And that's the end of round 3. Woo! Man. I don't know why. It might be the temperature. We're getting into the single digits right now, and along with the altitude and whatever else is going on, is definitely sapping me. Sapping me of my energy. But I definitely showed up for myself today and gave myself a challenge. And in that way, I've guaranteed that I'm going to make progress. I'm investing my time in building myself up, and I can reward myself for accomplishing that daily goal. 880 days of goal accomplishment, no matter what. Sub-zero temperatures, storms, stranded, whatever is going on, whatever challenges you are facing or you're going to face in this life, none of that has to stop you. It's your choice what you do with those challenges and how you show yourself that you are stronger than them, that you're still here, that you're still fighting forwards, and you're getting stronger every day. Keep track of every step forward, because every step forward counts, especially in this fight for better mental health. Shout out to Claire. I see you, Claire. She said watermelon. Well, you missed Watermelon Wednesday. You have to wait till next week. But we'll have an active recovery day on Sunday for you guys, if you're looking for that low intensity session to relieve anxiety and depression. Shout out as well to AliXO. Thanks for being here. And until next time, I'll catch you guys same exact time, same exact channel, same exact life. Sack man out.